Hello, I'm Nash Ravinsky and you're watching TVP World Talks, where every word matters. Now, in the course of political campaigns, not only every word matters, but also every penny does. In the Polish system, you need to account for your campaign financing, and apparently the former ruling Law and Justice Party has fallen foul of this. At least this is what it is being accused of. Will these accusations stand? How serious is this matter? We're going to talk about this to our guest, Jakub Kocjan, board member and Rule of Law campaigner at Akcja Demokracja. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for the invitation.
So what sort of violations are we talking about? Is it just politicians being sneaky, or is it something much more serious?
I believe it is very serious because the accusations are about the irregularities of spending public funds. Yeah, it's not only about the sources of finance, of money for political party, or is it about only some small irregularities. It is about misuse of public funds on a very large scale, which was like a system, not only a particular incident. So I believe it is very important also for creating standards for the future, to make sure that any political party which is going to be in the power, create government in the future, is not using the same methods.
So just to make sure, public funds that were supposed to be spent on something else, right? Because in the Polish system, political parties get their refund, so to say, from the state budget. If they account for all the expenses, they're going to get this reimbursement. Now, the question is whether the Law and Justice Party will be eligible for that. Some say some of this reimbursement will have to go. How much, really? What amounts are we talking about here?
Yes, generally the amount of money which political party has via this reimbursement of campaign expenses or via this annual subsidy, it depends on the number of votes it got in last general elections. In case of Law and Justice, it is in zlotys around 37 million of zlotys of this reimbursement, and 25 million of zlotys for this annual subsidy. So it is very important to say that in case of this investigation, it's not everything or nothing situation. Yeah. Electoral Commission, state regulator, is calculating all irregularities, and the amount of money which Law and Justice can lose is 3 times bigger than the amount of proved accusations of these irregularities. And it can be, of course, it depends on final decision of state commission, which has to sum up a lot of different funds which were misused regarding organizing these picnics, promoting in theory social programs, but in practice candidates of Law and Justice in particular region, for example.
Isn't this a problem of evidence though? Like, you can organize an event and theoretically, as it's saying, it's supposed to be about a government program, but then you have a candidate just, smiling, waving his hand. Can you prove that the candidate is getting a benefit out of this? Should they report this? Do you think that the legal system is watertight here, or does it allow plenty of scope for just acting in a very sleazy way and ultimately getting away with it?
Unfortunately, yes, the regulations are not very clear in some of these cases, because some cases I believe are quite obvious. For example, the fact that NASK, so the state institution which is working on combating and monitoring disinformation, for example, Russian disinformation, and they are doing really great job, but they were asked during the campaign also to conduct additional poll surveys to Law and Justice candidates, and I believe it is quite clear this situation, or the situation regarding some fake jobs when in public institutions, advisors or assistants to Krzysztof Szczucki, one of candidates of Law and Justice in Kujawsko-Pomorskie voivodeship. They got this job probably only in order to work for his campaign. So these situations are quite clear. But as you have said, totally I agree that there are situations which are more complicated. For example, these picnics, because Law and Justice organized a lot of picnics promoting 800 plus program. So the social program subsidizing families with children, and here the situation is more complicated because it was like promoting social program. Of course, there is a question whether really this program needed promotion, because more than 99% of people who are entitled to participate in this program are already participating in that. But of course, it is more problematic, but there are some cases. For example, during one of such picnics, military picnic also, Jarosław Kaczyński, so the leader of Law and Justice, publicly said and urged people to vote for Law and Justice candidates during this picnic.
So it's a thin line, right? You can boast about your successes, but you're not really supposed to say what everyone knows you're about to say anyway, like vote for us, because these are our successes. Like any government will claim this. Now, one more question. How much restraint should be exercised here? Because some people say, well, if there are huge penalties imposed for this, the party in question is immediately going to say, this is contrary to democratic principles, we are being deprived of our money, will not be able to function. Is there any merit to these accusations? Also, they want to countersue the regulator for holding up the payment of the money.
Yes, I believe that one thing is important and funny a bit also in this situation, because it was Law and Justice which changed the rules that way that now politicians are electing the members of State Commission regulator PKW. So NGOs warned that it is a very dangerous precedent, that it will not be judges but people elected by politicians who will decide about such fragile for every democracy things. So here we really warn that it is not an idea, my organization also. But yes, of course, always such situations like different treatment of financial report after campaign, it can be very fragile. That's why it is so important for Electoral Commission to have a proof for every case of irregularity.
Can you appeal their decision once the decision is made? Can you have a recourse to the legal system, like to have it decided by a court of law ultimately?
Yes, of course. It is like an obligation, yes, for a country with rule of law. So of course you can appeal to Supreme Court, but here there is another problem also, and also created by Law and Justice, because the appeal is possible for the Chamber of Extraordinary Affairs and Public Affairs in Supreme Court. But this particular chamber was also elected because of Law and Justice changing the bill regarding Supreme Court. They are selected in the way which is according European law and also Polish constitution, not totally objective.
So there is a risk of challenge, basically.
Yes.
So we see like structural problems. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. However, this is a discussion that will keep recurring because very much a developing story here. Jakub Kocjan was our guest today here on TVP World.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being here with us and for sharing your insight.
Thank you.
And I'm Jana Czerwiński. You're watching TVP World. Please do stay with us.